Hello, I'm Ricky Gervais. As the Canadian physician William Osler once said, the desire to take medicine is perhaps the greatest feature which distinguishes man from animals. From keyhole surgery to stem cell research, modern medicine enables the 20th century man to play God. But how did we get here? What incremental advances through the ages gave birth to the medical wonders of today? Here to discuss the history and practice of medicine are Stephen Merchant, graduate from the University of Warwick and now award-winning writer.
Thank you very much indeed.
And Karl Pilkington, a man with no qualifications, very little education, but who is now known the world over as a shaven chimp with a head like a fucking orange.
Alright.
Well, there is obviously so much to discuss, Ricky. I wonder, in an effort just to provoke some initial thoughts, if I can offer another quote from the great Carl Sagan, who said, advances in medicine and agriculture have saved vastly more lives than have been lost in all the wars in history. So quite a...
Yeah, just shows they shouldn't really worry about war.
What do you mean?
It's not a big problem, is it? Obviously. So, that's a good point there, Carl. War's not as bad as a lot of people make out. What do you think, Carl? Overrated? Too much fuss about all...
Well, I don't know anyone who's died in a war, but I know loads of people who have died from, you know, cancer and what have you. So is that going on Carl's quote? Does that work? Is he right? What did he say?
Good, well we're off to a fascinating start. I think it's probably best, Rick, if we return to the very beginning of time, the dawn of man, because of course, even in primitive prehistoric ages, medicine was practiced in some ways, from the research people have done, cave paintings and the like. Carl, I wonder if you would just give us your initial thoughts on, you know, the medicine of the ancient world.
You sound like you haven't studied it, or you're being...
You're being modest.
You're being modest?
Never really thought about it.
What do you think?
They didn't have much. I know that Tutankhamun, he died of having a knee injury. So they didn't have that much medicine knocking about back then.
Right, where do you get this information from? It sounds vague.
I read it at an exhibition I went to, and
did you read the whole sentence, or just...
No, I just saw they had some video footage made up. It wasn't from the time, and they just sort of said this is probably what happened.
Sure. Did you put the headphones on and listen though, or do you just guess it from the pictures?
I just looked because I couldn't have the headphones.
Of course not.
Why couldn't you have the headphones?
They're expensive.
How much?
About 50 quid, I think, deposit and everything.
Well, you get that back though if you return them. All you have to do is take them off your head and hand them in.
I don't like the idea of handing money over, because it's like when you get a flat and that and you put a deposit in, you never get the full deposit back. I don't like deposits.
Well, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to take 50 quid off because you put wallpaper on your headphones.
No, but it's
not the same, is it?
So you're going to deprive yourself of education because you don't trust...
I didn't deprive me, I saw it.
The Natural History Museum.
It came off a chariot. The dangerous things.
He came off a chariot. You saw that on the... How do you know he died? How could you tell from visual images that Tutankhamun died from a knee injury?
It's just... honestly, you're going to make yourself look daft here, because that's what happened.
Imagine that. In a room with Karl Pilkington, we make ourselves look daft. How would we have to... that would be incredible.
So aside from Tutankhamun's knee injury, that's pretty much your grasp of the ancient world of medicine?
Well, I don't know anyone else who's knocking about.
Well, what about if we go back even further? What about if we go to sort of primitive man, cave-dwelling man? What do you know there of medicine in that early stage?
They didn't really bother.
Okay, is that guessing, or
wasn't the earliest ones like people like shaman and those
absolutely, of course,
tribal lords that would say, well, that was I assume even pagan man had sort of apothecaries that certain roots and...
Yeah, shaman who would use herbs and so on. But of course, if we go back to primitive man, you're obviously familiar, I believe it's pronounced, is it trepanning?
Oh, when you take the top of your head off and let out the demons. And
they found various skulls from ancient man with holes bored in the top, some of which had healed over, suggesting that they had indeed drilled holes in their head, or presumably they wouldn't have had drills in that point, cracked the head, and... in their thinking, letting out evil spirits, and then they healed back over. So in some instances, the people survived.
Don't you think it's fascinating that there was at one point when man discovered that this thing that we now call the brain, which sort of houses the mind, he knew was in his head.
It's not that amazing.
Well, no, it's not to you, because you know it's there. But
but back then, I reckon I'd know that's where it is.
why? Can you feel where you're thinking?
Well, it just makes sense to put it there.
What do you
Why?
mean?
When you think and you speak, it comes out your mouth. So it just makes sense that whatever's near that is near to the mouth. If your brain was in your foot, it'd take ages for you to say anything.
No, it wouldn't! Why?
Yeah. This is like actually talking to a primitive man about his understanding of medicine. They would have more insight. By this point, we'd have just cracked open your head to get the demons out. Shall we move on to the ancient world in terms of Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, of course, because they made huge advances, particularly the Romans, who understood, of course, the importance of sanitation. You know, famously, their streets were clean.
Yeah. Don't you think that if we hadn't have cleaned up as much, that, I don't know, we'd be stronger?
What?
Well, I know what you mean. Yeah, they
say now, don't they? They say feed
let
the
your
baby,
kids eat
eat
dirt.
mud and
Yeah,
all
of
that.
course. Well, that's building up its sort of immunity system. If you're too closeted, you don't fight it. And that's exactly what immunisation is, giving you a bit.
Yeah, but
of
it's
the
gone
disease.
mental now. Whenever a baby's born, he's drugged out of its eyeballs. It's only
do you
about a
mean?
week old. They're giving it all sorts of shots.
Like what?
Loads of stuff for whooping cough.
Yeah, you don't want whooping
sugar
cough.
lumps.
Tutankhamun could have died of whooping
No,
cough.
but give it loads of stuff. And now it's like, I don't know, it's making us weak.
Yeah. Soon there's going to be things that, one, we're not immune to, and two, our antibiotics no longer work, because of course things like the viruses and bacteria or whatever, they evolve and change so quickly that you can't keep up with them. And also there's this big thing, like the superbug, for example. There's a very strong theory that says that it's where people took half the course of antibiotics, and what it did was, it was almost like an immunisation to the bacteria and virus against the antibiotic. They got stronger.
That's what I mean.
So yeah, we need some germs, as you'd call them, but there are some that we have eradicated. I mean, I think it was in our lifetime that they eradicated smallpox from the world. They just stopped it, and it saved, millions and millions of lives, and they wiped it out.
There are rumours, of course, that both Russia and America still have the smallpox virus under lock and key, which they could theoretically breed and use in a chemical warfare situation.
Well, there was a bit of a scandal a few years ago, I think 10 years ago, where in a university laboratory, someone came across a marked yoghurt pot in deep freeze that had smallpox in it. That was a hangover from the 70s.
When you say it was marked, was it like someone's put their name on it because they don't want someone to eat their smallpox yogurt?
I think they looked into it, and it was the deep frozen smallpox virus that thawed out
They
and
just
released.
left in the fridge.
Well, I think so. Yeah,
I
it was
worry.
an
I don't
admin
understand.
problem. I'm sure that somewhere. What I mean is, it's under lock and key or frozen at minus
So that's
200
not good
degrees
enough, is
centigrade.
it?
Why?
Under lock and key and all that. It's not good enough. Get rid of it. Why are they keeping a little tub of smallpox knocking about?
Well, are they not meant to be?
Well,
No,
that's
but
a
what was he
lesson.
doing there in the first place? To me, that's like in James Bond, where they don't kill him when they have the chance. There's always that little thing of, let's play with danger, let's keep a bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Pop it
probably
next to AIDS in the Kiora bottle. I don't understand why you'd store that.
Well, there's probably a presumption, it's probably an overhang from the Cold War, where people were thinking, well, listen, what if Russia's still got some smallpox? We better hang on to some smallpox.
It's just
Yeah.
clutter though as well, isn't it? You see, we're obsessed. We're keeping stuff. And it's the same with germs. We can't even say, get rid of that. We won't be needing it. Smallpox. We'll keep it just in case. Get rid of it. We've got this obsession thing again. It's saving everything. It's like how we save every animal, even a germ, we get upset about if it dies out.
Yeah,
Keep a
but
bit.
you say that, but of course, famously Alexander Fleming discovered what may be the most important breakthrough of the 20th century, which was the first antibiotic, I think, in 1928, and he's literally saved hundreds of millions of lives with that, changed the face of modern medicine, and he discovered that because he left a bit of old bread out for a while, and it went all mouldy in his kitchen, and he thought, oh, what's that? Oh, Let's have a look.
Like I've said to you before, it's down to him being scruffy more than anything. It just seems like there's a lot of scruffy kitchens around that, I mean, you're saying...
But think if his cleaner had come in and gone, "Oh, Mr. Fleming, you disgust me, you fucking filthy scruffy cunt, I'm gonna throw all this bread away." He's gonna go, "Maud, what'd you do with that, old bread I left out?" It'd gone green, sir, so I chucked it away." "Oh, Maud, you dopey fucking slut. You've just caused millions and millions of people to die. Keep out of my fucking kitchen."
I know, but don't put it there. It's the same way smallpox in a
you're on
yogurt
Maud's side.
pot. It's in a yogurt pot.
Wow.
You're asking for trouble.
But what if Maud had come in and thrown that away? Again?
He couldn't shout at her. She's doing a job. I'd be annoyed if it was still there.
Yeah,
I'd say it's been here now for a couple of weeks. You haven't even asked. There's a lot of cleaners. That's part of the problem, I'd say. The cleaners. They're not doing the job. That's the problem in hospitals, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's filth everywhere.
Well, they proved a point. In one hospital, they brought a team of people in to show doctors and nurses how to clean things properly, and deaths went down 30%.
There you go.
Just from properly washing your hands and properly washing the floor and things. That's amazing, isn't it?
It's pretty simple. Just don't put, like, yogurt pots with smallpox in the fridge.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a starter.
Yeah, but you were saying earlier, let's let babies eat mud, don't inject them.
Yeah, but
let them crawl around a dirty floor, clean up the floor, and no one will die.
I did say that, but we've gone too far now. Babies are coming out mad. Oh, they can't handle anything now. Oh, he's got a runny nose. They're coming out all mardy. Get ill. Yeah, they get ill easy. They're not tough babies anymore. We're ending up with a load of weak people who need looking after all the time. That costs a lot of money. And they can't do anything. They're useless. Now, that doesn't happen in other nature. If a little weak bird is born, you see Bill Oddie saying that won't last. He says that won't last a week, and he's right. You watch it and you say, "Oh, that third baby that came out, it died."
But
and
what's
he was
your point, Carl? That modern medicine, which can help people live to the age of 75, 80, that it shouldn't be doing that? They should let people just die off?
Well, here's something, right? The estate that I grew up on, there's a woman there.
Yeah.
Scruffy Sandra.
I like her already. Oh, it's great. It's so descriptive.
Now,
she had no chance, even if she cleaned up her act.
Yeah.
She'd come in looking like Pretty Woman. You go, "All right, Scruffy."
No,
What's the point? What is the point?
Oh,
So the thing is, she used to always get on these buses called dialer rides that were sort of like posh taxis. You could call for one, it'd come round to your house, and it would pick you up and you'd pay like 50p.
But it would pick up a bunch of other people as well.
Yeah, on the way. So it would take ages to get to where you're going.
That is.
Oh, it's good though. It's kind of a bit of a day out. Old people used to love it because you'd get to see things.
Right.
And you'd hear a call coming in on the radio that Scruffy Sandra's being picked up, and you go, "Oh God!" And she'd always have loads of bin bags with her for some reason. Now the thing is,
Well, she sounds clean.
she stunk.
Well, she's taken out the
Was
bin
she
bag,
homeless?
No, she wasn't homeless. No, she used to she just didn't bath and that. She just stunk. But the weird thing is,
Why didn't they call her Stinky Sandra?
she never was ill.
Right.
People didn't sit next to her
Yeah.
because she stunk.
Yeah.
Now, because of that, anyone who might have had a bit of flu or a cold never sat next to Scruffy Sandra
Right.
because she stunk. But that was good. That was like a protection thing for her because she knew that because she stunk, no one wants to sit next to her. She wouldn't pick up the germ.
Right. Now, but this is quite... Your point is, in order to fend off illness, you have to not bathe, and so you stink.
So you're saying that it wasn't that she'd built up an immunity, it was that she stank so much that flu wouldn't come near her.
This is such a specific example. It's not applicable in any other scenario.
There's always colds, there's always flu. It's whether your immunity is good or bad. The times I get ill are usually after like a long haul flight or something, when you're surrounded by it and you're run down a little bit.
Or maybe if you didn't bathe for 3 days before the flight.
Yeah. So it's always there. There's colds and flus everywhere. That's interesting, isn't it? That more sort of colds are spread through shaking hands than people, just taking in the air, because people sneeze into their hand and they think that's sort of safer. But then they shake hands and you get it on your hand and it sort of dies in the air quickly, but it stays on your skin a bit more because it's you're nice and warm, lovely environment. So that's why some sort of germaphobes don't even shake hands anymore.
Yeah, but that's going too far, because they're going to die or something. You can't be that paranoid. You've got to get on with your life.
Loneliness.
And it's good to feel ill, because when you feel better, you appreciate how good you feel.
Doesn't make any sense at all. It's good to feel ill. Doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it does afterwards. The other weekend, when I was ill, I don't know what was up with me, but I got something.
Symptoms?
Went to the toilet a lot, felt sick at the same time, got a sweat on, felt weak, had the shakes.
Just a bug, yeah.
Lasted probably about 24 hours. After that 24 hours, you go, oh, I feel good again. It's nice to feel good again. And it makes you appreciate how good you feel. Now, sometimes I don't know if I feel well.
It doesn't make any sense at all either. What do you mean, sometimes you don't know whether you feel well?
Because I've been in my body for years.
Here he goes again.
Go on, yeah.
Here he goes again.
Now,
the two minds.
If there was some sort of kit that the doctor said, how are you feeling, Mr. Pilkington? And I go, oh, I think I feel alright. And they go, well, do you? I go, I don't know. And they go, well, step into the machine, right? Get into the machine, and if he could somehow transfer my feeling into his body so I could feel how he feels, and then he can feel how I feel, and he'll go, oh, you're not well at all. Your heartbeat's irregular for a start.
You're a maniac.
This is... I
No.
don't know what's going on here.
Because-
Why don't you
you
just
get
accept that if you feel well, you know...
Because you don't know if you
Hang
feel
on, let's
well.
get this machine built. Sorry, why are people bothering studying AIDS? We got to get this machine built.
Listen, this machine could do a lot of good if they could do it.
Why?
Because some people, you hear about people who go, oh, I think I've got a bit of wind. Before you know it, they drop down dead. Right? Because
Right.
they didn't know. They just, well, didn't Mr. Jones have a sweat on, Mrs. Jones, before? Oh, yeah, he did, but he always had a sweat on. Well, didn't it bother him? No, he was used to it. Happened for years. Why didn't you come in? Oh,
So,
he
and
felt
what would the
all right.
machine do again?
The machine would make my doctor
Yeah.
feel like me. He'd be sat there and he'd go,
Sorry,
Oh.
who's saying to Mrs. Jones, didn't Mr. Jones have a sweat on?
the doctor.
So the doctor knew he had a sweat on. Why didn't the doctor say, well, we
No.
better look at that?
No, he didn't. He asked
He's not a
Mrs.
very good
Jones.
doctor, though, is he? He's not a very good doctor, then.
Yeah, but this is the problem now, isn't it?
Right, so
Because there's too
Mr.
many ill
Jones went to
people.
the doctor and said, oh, I've got a sweat on, right?
Right, so he'd go, well, I'll tell you what, get in the machine. So Mr. Jones gets in the machine.
Yeah.
The doctor hits the button. Mr. Jones gets into the doctor. The doctor
Right.
goes, you have got a sweat on. I'm familiar with this because I had a fella in the other day with a similar thing. Take 3 of these.
You are a mental case. I don't know what this is.
Because-
But why can't
what
the
is- what is
doctor
this-
make that observation like a doctor
Yeah,
does? Why
what
can't
is
the
this-
doctor, using his knowledge, observe the
I
person
tell
with the
you
sweat
why.
on?
I tell you
This is
why.
like a scene from Ghost. This is
Right.
like Patrick Swayze.
Listen, do
borrowing...
you know that time when I went to the doctor's and he said my nerves are too short?
That doesn't make any sense at
No,
all.
no,
But
what
listen,
that was.
I've told you about it. I don't want to go through it again. But he looked at my legs and stretched them and that. He said, "Yeah, it's the old short nerves problem." Now, that took like 3 visits before he worked that out.
Right.
But how would he be able... Just because if he was feeling how you were feeling, I wouldn't help him identify it,
Yeah,
would it?
you're there in your body and you're not going, bloody hell, my nerves are a bit short. Doctor, you go into the doctor, okay, and we're just going to place Pilkington in.
Right. I'll tell you the
Pilkington's in me.
problem.
Oh, my nerves are too short.
When my nerves were short,
Are they not short already? Have they extended since then?
well, I just have to do stretches and it's pull them about.
Right.
But when I had that, I'm not very good with words.
Go on.
So when I was going in saying, "Doctor, my knee's aching," and he'd go, "What sort of ache is it?" I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just an ache. And he'd-
Toothache. It's like a toothache in my
No,
leg.
but it's different.
Go
It's
on.
a different ache. Now the thing
Arseache.
is,
It's like an arseache.
it's hard to explain an ache.
So he'd
Yeah.
have to feel the ache, and then he could make an assumption from it.
Thank you.
So he would presumably go through training, going in the machine, and they'd bring in various sick people, and he would experience and feel every single ailment.
Great.
Yeah, but over.
Doctor, I'm going to let you know now what a swift kick in the bollocks feels like, just in case you ever have to diagnose that. Oh, you can't! I can't remember that one.
Yeah, but
Doctor, now you're going to feel a spike up the arse.
it's all about.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh, I can't remember that one. Okay.
No,
Doctor-
couldn't I just wait until the man comes in with a spike up my arse?
No, you got to tell you so you know
But
when
I
you
reckon
feel
I could
it.
assess it if he's coming, he's got the spike up his arse. I'd
You've
be
got
able
to
to tell.
experience everything before someone comes in and gets into your body like Ghost, and you'll know what it is.
Hey, listen, let's not dismiss this idea out of hand, of course, because you'll famously remember, Rick, that Carl had the idea of a man who can grow backwards. So he's born as an old man,
Yeah.
and when he dies, he's a young baby. I think we're all looking forward to the new Brad Pitt film. That is exactly that plot.
a bit strange.
It's not really strange, is it? Because it's from a novel, I think written before Carl was born.
That's true. That is true. Yes.
Yeah,
So
but I
actually-
haven't read it.
Well,
so
that's obvious.
It's just an idea. and with all ideas comes something. Einstein said that. He said if an idea isn't...
Go on. Wait. Just let him
what did
finish.
Einstein say?
We've got an Einstein quote here.
Yeah.
This is a historic day. Carl, sorry, what were you saying? What did Albert Einstein say?
He just said something along the lines of...
Well, no. Give us the quote.
It doesn't matter about how he worded it. It's the point in hand.
Well, I think it is. I think a quote. I think like all, any sort of poetic content of anything is exactly how it's worded. So just what did Einstein say exactly?
Well, he said something along the lines of...
Go on.
An idea. If an idea isn't daft...
Oh, start again.
No, come on, let's hear it.
No, because
he said if an idea isn't daft, it isn't worth thinking about.
What? Say it again?
If an idea isn't daft, it isn't worth thinking about.
I can't imagine him saying daft.
No, I can't.
Well, it was something like that, though, meaning that every new idea seems a bit mental.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a good point.
But then it leads to something.
Well,
I'm not sure that
I
think if we were sat with Einstein now and you'd brought up the machine that allows doctors to feel, I don't think he'd be saying we should pursue that idea.
There's some ideas that go, I think the Earth might be round. Who go, oh, you idiot, it's flat. And then there's people who stand in doorways covered in crucifixes with tinfoil on their head, saying Jesus is in my cock.
Yeah. But
now he's a mentalist.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, wouldn't you have said it was mental years ago when someone said, I'm going to make a machine so I can look inside your head? Years on, hello. Get in the machine, we've got an MRI scanner. It's the next one along.
They'd go, well, why are you looking in their head? It's where the brain is.
I'll tell you what, we've got similar to it anyway, because I've read about this machine where, right, say if, put it on Steve, right?
Go on.
I wear a camera on my head.
Right, if this is going to be I can see Steve's thoughts.
No, but it's similar to that, and it works as well. So, I put a camera on Steve's head.
Okay, it's changed already. Whose head the camera on?
I don't think it matters.
Okay,
fine.
Let's put the camera on Steve's head.
Okay,
right,
the
I've got a camera on Steve's head.
Right.
What I've got on my head are some goggles.
Right.
Over your eyes?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got the camera. Through my goggles, I'm seeing what your camera's seeing.
And where's the camera? Is it looking out from my eyes?
Yeah. Right.
So basically you can see what I can see.
So I'm seeing what you see.
But couldn't you just stand where I'm standing?
Well, it's just a monitor. Well, that happens now. Yeah, you can all have the same monitor.
Hang on. So
okay.
wait.
So. How does it work now?
Wait.
Hang on a minute.
This is you're at the Royal College of Surgeons. You're presenting this idea now. Everyone in the world is sat down here. The eminent scientists. They're going, can't believe Donovan's a genius. He's got an idea for cameras and goggles.
No, you're saying this already exists.
This has just come out the other week.
Oh, okay.
Put a camera on Steve's eyes. He sees through the camera. I've got the goggles.
Why is he seeing through a camera? I don't know what you mean. He's just got
wherever he looks, the camera's looking.
Okay, so it's a camera, right? Okay,
it's a camera on his head.
He's not seeing through it. It's just seeing what he sees because it's pointing in exactly the same direction as his eyes.
Yeah, if he turns his head to the right,
yeah, exactly.
I will see.
So it's a monitor to you. So you're looking at a monitor, really.
Right. So one of the simplest ideas, but it's taken us 20 minutes to explain it.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So it's the same as a cameraman pointing the camera anywhere. We're watching the telly. We're seeing what the cameraman sees, basically. Go on then.
But it's not like
You've just invented television. Well done.
Okay, right. So I've got the camera on my head. It's seeing what I'm seeing. Go.
Right.
You've got goggles on your eyes.
I've got goggles on. If you turn right, I feel like I'm turning right.
Okay.
Now my brain gets to a point that if you wear it for long enough, that brain thinks it's you. Because what happens is, because the brain's being kidded. At the end of the day, my brain thinks it's seeing everything because my eyes are looking at stuff.
Yeah, no, that's true, but it doesn't think I'm Steve Merchant. It experienced what Steve's seeing. It's like a virtual reality.
No, but that's the weird thing. If you wear it for long enough, the brain's sort of seeing it like Steve's arm go up to his head and scratch it, and it gets to a point where the brain feels a scratch, even though it's not scratching my head. So they're saying this is like, you're kidding your brain, basically.
I can see how that would work.
But you're not going to believe that you're me.
No, you're not
going to start
Merchant.
experiencing life as I experience it.
My brain would.
What do you mean your brain would, but you wouldn't?
Because I'm kidding the brain.
Done this,
yes, but you couldn't kid it into thinking you're me. You wouldn't forget that you're Carl wearing a contraption.
But what it was saying is if someone went up to your stomach and started tickling you, my brain would look down and see that someone is tickling me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd start laughing.
I can understand you.
No, you wouldn't. No, you would. Well, yeah, you might do because it might be a confusing stimulus.
Yes, but the point is, there may be certain physical things which you experience through it, but you're not going to stop thinking, hang on, I'm Carl wearing the mask, are
No.
you?
But you can do that.
You're thinking you're Carl seeing all the things that actually
What, you're going to
Steve's-
start
yeah.
having memories that you think are what, your memories are going to change? You're not going to remember your name, you're not going to remember Suzanne's name? What were you talking about?
No, but say if we did that at that event with a load of students in front of us, I'd remember that day through your eyes.
Right.
So I'd be living your day.
But you'd also remember that you were wearing a
life.
contraption.
Yeah.
You wouldn't remember it as being, oh, I was Steve Merchant for a day.
But I
Yeah,
kind
but you'd
of
have different
was.
thoughts because you'd access. But look, Carl, listen. I sat down and we watched the same thing. We watched a bit of Brokeback Mountain, and we
Yeah.
all had different thoughts.
Yeah, because we're all sat in different places.
No, roughly speaking, we had the same experience when we're looking at the same thing. But it doesn't mean you assess it the same way, it doesn't mean you understand it the same way, and it doesn't mean you apply the knowledge in the same way.
No, I understand that, but
It's an interesting experiment. It is interesting. It'd be interesting to see it live. You're actually living. It's a different window to the world.
well, yeah. Say if like I was a fellow with no arms and legs, but these goggles had a really long lead, and you went about living your day, and I was looking through your eyes, I could have quite an interesting life.
Yes, you could,
Without
but you
the
wouldn't
axle.
stop remembering that you're the person wearing the contraption.
And also,
But what is life?
Yeah,
Life
but no-
is what you experience.
Yeah, but no,
and-
but if Steve went off, but you'd know this, wouldn't you? I mean,
Well, would you? If you stuck one on a baby?
Well, yeah, that's different. Yeah,
Well,
I
there
mean,
you go.
if a baby knew no different, and those were his experience, then he would be feeling what he thought he was. Then there'd be nothing. But then, you know, let's face it, tickling someone is the sensation. It's not the thought. It's not the concept of being
No, it's
tickled
not
is
though,
funny.
because if someone goes to tickle you, but they don't tickle you, you can actually laugh, can't you? Because you go, oh God, I know what the feeling's going to be like.
Yes, because you've already experienced the real thing.
Yeah. I still think there's
Well,
something in
stop
it.
with that. Stop that sentence there, and you're lying.
Let's go back, if we may, shall we, to just some of the extraordinary early developments in medicine. Do you mind if we
Yes.
go back, just get back on message? There are, of course, a number of extraordinary developments. You may obviously be aware, Carl, that the first contraceptive diaphragms, centuries ago, were citrus rinds. Half an orange rind, for instance, would be used.
I mean, more selfish men turned them inside out.
I believe that's also still being used in parts of Manchester.
For what?
An orange. Just think of your head.
And it worked.
Well, we don't know at this juncture.
I mean, maybe. I don't
It
know.
works as a contraception because women went, fuck off, what are you going to me with a fucking orange on your cock for, you dirty cunt?
But it could. I mean, again, it's that thing innit of we look at it now and we laugh, but look at what's happening. People now are always trying to get us to eat more fruit.
I don't.
Amazing.
That's a way of getting.
I thought for a minute he was going to say,
I
okay,
know.
so they start with, then they went from the orange rind to say a coconut shell.
Yeah.
That was too big, that didn't work.
Run! Here
Yeah.
comes Coconut John!
No, don't put half a pineapple on your cock. That's insane.
Yeah,
No.
that's mental.
And then somewhere down the line, they finally got to contraception as we understand it. Is that? I thought that's where you're going, but no, something
no.
about eating oranges is healthy
No,
for you.
what I'm saying is, if you go into any well-known supermarket and you look at, say, some young kid who's had a kid, and you look at stuff in their shopping basket,
Yeah.
they're not buying fruit. They're buying, burgers and chips.
Turkey Twizzlers,
Yeah,
crisps.
and all that. No, but they love having it away. Get some fruit in. So they definitely have fruit in the house, which at the moment, a lot of kids don't have fruit in their house. That's why they're eating Turkey Twizzlers. But the mum loves having it away. So she would have loads of fruit in.
So if she
everyone's
was,
happy.
If
the
she
kids
was
are
using
eating
an
fruit.
orange for contraception, she would also be giving the kids.
Well, you wouldn't waste
so half
it.
the orange she'd give to the kids, and half the orange she'd
Well,
stick up her fanny.
Yeah, a treat for everyone. Have a bit of fruit, and she's got what she wants. Whereas at the moment, what happens? A burger's not coming in helpful for anyone.
If you want me tonight, pop a sesame seed bone on your cock. Take out the fucking pickle. No one likes a fucking pickle up the fanny. Oh, he's a bloody romantic. He popped a plum roast sausage up my fanny yesterday. He loves me. Oh no. Right.